Captain's Log Supplemental. Starfleet has us monitoring a unique wormhole just off the surface of the third moon of Cali 7. The opening and exit are a mere 10 meters apart and have a diameter only about 3 meters wide. We're not quite sure how it's even managed to remain stable. A wormhole this small should have evaporated in short order. Ensign Miles decided to attempt a new home run distance record using it. He hit a ball through one of the openings that's gone at least 83 kilometers last I checked. I don't think Guinness will count it due to technicalities, but it will be interesting to see how long it keeps up.
All right, welcome back everybody to Captain's Log Supplemental. I am Chris, and as always, I am joined by my two friends, Stanford.
Hello, I talk like this now.
Please don't.
No, it's because it's new season, so I had a new voice.
Oh, okay. I'm also joined by Rob as well.
Hello.
It was a good bit. I'm proud of it. Fuck you.
Totally lost my train of thought now, but yeah. So Captain's Log Supplemental is a, newer pack. I would say newer, but we are into season 2 of Enterprise now. So we have like a whole season, like a 90s season under our belt too. Not like an 8 episode season.
26 episodes once a week, which means we have literally had 6 months of broadcasting this podcast.
Yeah.
That's
but
weird.
As always, we do appreciate if you like the podcast, comment, leave ratings. That is very good for us. And of course, tell all your friends and family if they are into Star Trek, or even if they're not. You know, I feel like we're pretty funny and can be entertaining. So let them know. Come and listen to our podcast. We would greatly appreciate it. So, as I mentioned before, we are on season 2. Yay!
Yeah, that's exciting. That's exciting.
It is. We got a whole big fat season under our belt and ready to dig into the next one.
Gentlemen, though, I'm sorry, but like I do have to be kind of a Debbie Downer here.
Why?
Only good vibes in this podcast.
I'm sorry, I have to, and I'm so sorry, but I have to be the ones to inform you that no one ate anything in this episode.
Oh my God, you're right.
Oh, man.
It actually happened.
So, season 2 is already off to a really fucking rocky start, let me tell you.
Well, speaking of start, we pick up this episode, Shockwave Part 2, basically right where Part 1 left off. Silic is talking to T'Pol on the bridge and is saying, trying to find out where Archer is. They can't detect him anywhere, and T'Pol, invites them and his buddies on to kind of check the ship out himself, which, I guess is kind of the only move they have left at that point.
T'Pol is the only adult on all of the ships right now. Like, Silic's being an asshole, Trip and Reed are being petulant. T'Pol's like, can we just get this over with? What are we doing here?
Yeah, I like that Reed immediately wants to start blasting them.
He's like, I'll kill them all.
So we go through that, and then we quickly cut over to Archer and Daniels kind of wading through the wreckage of the destroyed future. Daniels is still having a crisis. He has no answers. But he does notice that the monument to the Federation
the
is
monument's
missing.
gone.
Yeah, the monument.
Hey.
What did that monument look like, you think? I mean,
I think it was a statue of Archer.
No. No, it's the Federation, so it's got to be something lame. Like it's just a monument of I don't know, some
like a big circle or some bullshit.
Well collated data.
It's the big Starfleet swoosh.
Yeah.
Their data is always so detailed and nuanced.
It is nice to see, though, that even though they've survived Armageddon, the atmosphere is perfectly fine to breathe, and apparently there's no radiation or anything.
It's also nice that the library is 100% intact, even though there's not a single intact structure around it.
They decide to take a trip to the library, and Daniels mentions there aren't supposed to be real books here, which, I mean, okay, but what changed?
That was a good question. Why... I understand it's there aren't supposed to be books here, but there have to be books because there's no electricity and shit, right? So they have to have books, but also It was still the year like 2600 or whatever. Why was that different? Like, was it like, well, without the Federation, we had to keep these books.
We just they just didn't like paper. And, we just really like paper. So.
Article 1 of the Charter of the Federation is fuck
No
damn
fucking
books.
No. See, in retaliation for losing Archer, the Suliban just went back further in time and stole Jeff Bezos to keep him from making the Kindle.
That's what it was.
Shit.
That's what it was.
And everyone got stuck with that stupid rocket reader that no one liked.
I totally forgot that was a thing. Wow. Okay.
My stepmom had one. I read the Princess of Mars on that thing.
So yeah, we went quickly. We go back to the Enterprise. The Suliban soldiers are sweeping through, all of Enterprise looking for Archer. They don't find him. They do find basically a reading of temporal disturbance or whatever. And Silik questions T'Pol on what she knows about the temporal Cold War. Man,
I don't know why, but Silik decided that he needed to sensually mince the whole episode. He's got, did y'all see that new Cats movie? The newer one?
No.
Oh, well, they've got these sensual shoulder movement things for some fucking reason because they're cats or whatever. That's what Silik is doing the whole time. He's he's very faffy. He's just mincing around the scenes.
So after questioning T'Pol, Silik orders them to kind of shut down their engines. They're going to tow them into their helix and, do more sweeping and whatnot, I guess. Back on Earth, the Vulcan ambassador is getting impatient. We're kind of get a glimpse into Admiral Forrest's conversation with the Vulcan ambassador. Saval, was his name Saval? Is that right?
Saval, yeah.
Yeah,
it's Saval, his entourage, Forrester, and then Major Chad. Forrest. I keep doing that. And then Major Chad, some random major with a huge neck.
The squarest jaw as well.
Yeah, he's a major fucking Gaindolf over here.
Saval mentions that they did detect multiple ships joining the Enterprise. He conveniently left that out in all the rest of his conversation so far. But he says, well, we're just going to send our Vulcan ship after him.
I didn't really get Saval's motivation for any of this conversation because he was it was so weird. He was like, man, fuck you and fuck you and fuck you. It's
just the standard, Vulcans hate us tribe that's carried over from the first season. Silik can't reach his benefactor. Meanwhile, he's trying to communicate with him and he can't get a hold of him. While his commander guy is being a pretty big douche to him. And just in general, he's like, no, I haven't blown up that ship. You fucked up. You might as well just blow him up right now.
His second in command was so funny this whole time because he's like, can we get anything done? And Silik's like, no.
Well, especially at the end of the episode we'll get to it.
Yep. So, Back to the Future. I had to slip it in at least once this episode. They can't find anything on the Federation in the library, so obviously it never existed. Daniel says the history diverges at the point of the Warp 5 program. Everything up to that's the same, but it's at that Warp 5 program that everything diverges. So obviously, Archer disappearing has affected things.
This whole library scene is just a weak ass exposition dump.
Yeah, this is they're there, and things have to happen to progress the story. So here we go. Daniels decides he can MacGyver a device to communicate with the past because he did that shit in high school. Man,
what?
That's totally fine.
What? No, this bothered me so. Man, shut up! You didn't. We learned it in high school. No, you didn't. Why would a high school teach that? Why the entire timeline would be filled with dick pics?
It was interesting to hear that the people, the
nuts
Suliban,
floating in the sky.
Yeah, it was weird though to hear that the people the Suliban work for can't travel through time.
Yeah, it is interesting, and I'm trying to remember if we ever actually get any additional information on that group.
Well, yeah, we do. We find out who the benefactor is.
We do? Oh, man, it's been a while since I watched it. I can't remember.
I have this memory of what happened, so I don't want to ruin it because it's a little twisty. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's Archer doing a 2-foot kick. That's the benefactor.
He did too.
Not there yet.
Oh, we're not there
yet. We're not there yet.
I have it in all caps later in my notes.
we cut back to the Enterprise. Silic is questioning T'Pol some more with the weird like tube neck injector collar thing.
Yeah, we're doing bondage kink again.
Yeah.
Well, and that's not the only horny thing that happens this episode. Once again, we'll get to that in a little bit.
That's right. The other part of my notes that are caps where it says fucking sigh this goddamn show. I forgot about that part.
Yeah, it's revealed that Silic and T'Pol reveals to Silic that Archer did talk to Daniel a couple days ago. Meanwhile, continues on the time communicator, or that was just here, hand me that wrench. No, not that one. Little work scene, I guess, that had a point for some reason.
Is this where Archer's banging on the thing with a rock?
Yes, here's some copper. It's got some copper in it.
Like they couldn't find a hammer?
Yeah.
It was kind of cool, though. Did you see the inside of the scanner while Daniels was working on it?
Yeah,
it's like
cool
layered circuit boards.
Mm-hmm.
So
Trip is routing a signal to because everyone's on like locked into their quarters, right? And Trip gets a message over to Reed or whatever, and he's like routing the signal through the EPS grid. That sounds very explosive. Like
no, it's fine. There's conduits, then they transport anything that you want into them, and it's totally fine.
Yeah. So, and I guess this works like those landline adapter like network plugs, which so magic basically.
It's
like
fine.
I don't know what that works. How that?
Yeah,
no,
it's fine. It's fine.
Not power over Ethernet. It's Ethernet over power.
We get another brief conversation with Daniels and Archer, where Daniels is telling him, "No, you have to go back to the exact time. I don't want to fuck anything else up because it would be too easy to go farther back." T'Pol stumbles into her room and is very out of it. At which point she gets Archer goes all Wizard of Oz, and we get a floating head in the top of T'Pol's quarters, and she thinks she's hallucinating at first. I think she's not doing so good.
Do y'all remember Zordon from Power Rangers? The big floating blue head?
Yeah.
That's what this reminded me of.
I mean, there's a
it's
lot
all, like,
more
yellowed and stuff.
There's a lot more abs, though. T'Pol's abs were out the whole time.
Whole scene. Mm-hmm. T'Pol mentions that time travel isn't fair, which I mean,
fair.
Sure.
Yeah.
They come up with Archer says, like, listen to me, and you got to listen very carefully. This is what we need to do. And so then we cut to, Reed and Trip come up with this plan to squeeze Hoshi into the crawl space behind the EPS conduits.
Hoshi's like, can I just translate some shit? Like, what do you need me? I'm not good in closed places.
Did we?
By the way,
I don't remember. Did we hear that Hoshi had a fear of tight spaces before, or was this new information?
The claustrophobia.
That's why she didn't like the EVA suits.
Yes. The claustrophobia is why she
right.
did not like the EVA suits.
Yeah. So we get to see Hoshi crawling through the crawl space, which, by the way, like, Reed is not a large person. He could have definitely fit into those.
I said
fit in
there is definitely enough room for any of them in there. She's like on her knees. Like, there's no way that she was the only person that could fit there. Phlox could have fit through those fucking things.
So knock, who's there? At Phlox's, doctor's office. He gives them some, hypo sprays.
Oh man, he's just trying to do his job, and Hoshi like snaps at him.
It was this knock, who's there? Hand who? Hand me the goddamn hypo spray so I can get done with this stupid tube.
Right, so but the bit I did at the beginning of the show was lame.
Yeah, I mean it was. Mine was much better. We get some more sweaty crawling, which was quickly followed by your goddamn Enterprise. Why are you so horny? She's trying to exit, and oh gosh, her top it just catches right on this little like hook thing, and it just totally accidental. I'm pretty sure the writers didn't even have this planned. She just falls right out topless into the room she's trying to exit.
Hate this show. It was such a useless moment.
No, there was use. It was to get her half naked so she could hold her boobs in a shot. That was it.
Oh my god! I feel like
directed that. Who directed this episode? Did
I'll
anyone look?
Yeah, I'll take a look. But I feel like that page of the script was just like teehee hand bra. Like,
well, I was gonna say, like, you know, what is Hoshi's actress? I don't know her name off the top of my head. Like, what does she think when she gets the script? Is she like, "Are you fucking serious, guys?" I mean, come on.
I don't know.
What the fuck?
Oh my god! I just like, come on. Let's see. Directed by some dude I've never heard of, and written by Rick Berman and Brandon Braga.
Yeah, okay. So the standards. All right. So anyway, T'Pol in another room, T'Pol acts as a distraction to the Suliban guards, and Trip and Reed jump out and bop the bad guys and give them the hypo spray or whatever. Although they did let them beat on T'Pol for a little bit.
Yeah, T'Pol once again showing she's a master of deception.
Reed sneaks into Daniel's room. And we get a little, locker of holding, basically, where he shoves his hand in and pulls out something. But as soon as he gets out of Daniel's room, he is ambushed by the Suliban soldiers.
He's just immediately captured. He just immediately fails his job.
I think it was on purpose, though. Right?
I think it was intentional. Yeah.
Yeah, he was captured on purpose as a.
It was at least intentional on Archer's part. I wonder how much he told Reed. Because if he didn't tell him much, like you would really expect him to be a little more observant.
Well, I mean, he had to tell him enough so that he could find that futuristic keytar that he pulled out of the wall.
Before the scene, the scene where he sneaks into Daniel's room, like you see the Tripper to Paul asks, "Are you sure you want to do this? It could get pretty rough."
Yeah,
so I think that was the intimation that it was on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So where were we?
My next note is these are the most easily manipulated people. Like the Suliban are not that bright.
Yeah, but we get the shit beat out of him. My notes were this is definitely a setup. Meanwhile, was it Trip and T'Pol that snuck into the engine room and started, shooting, and we get a classic Vulcan neck pinch in there. Trip works on the engine to kind of short it out. They make it seem like it's going to go critical.
Oh, man. Which works, but that was an awful lot of, fire and explosions and things that I was like...
It really was.
I'm not sure that would not hurt that thing pretty badly.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. We cut to Silic trying to use the thing that Reed brought to communicate with his benefactor. He can't get it to work, and his soldiers are calling him, "Hey, the engine's going to explode. What do you want us to do?" I don't give a fuck. Get out of here. I'm trying to make a call. But as he said, explosions are happening everywhere on the warp core. Pretty
much every time someone bothered him, he's like, "I'm on the phone."
Mom. Okay.
He's trying to download a really big JPEG, but someone keeps picking up the phone line.
Mm-hmm. As soon as the towing ships kind of veer off, the Enterprise kicks its engines on and makes a quick escape. The warp cells were, as you said, very explodey there at the end.
Mm-hmm.
They were leaking plasma too.
Mm-hmm.
But then it was just turn off the broken switch. Yeah, okay, we're good to go now.
Yeah, we're good to go. We're fine. We get back to old Silic in his chamber trying to talk to his benefactor. He gets somebody on there. It looks like the shadowy benefactor that we normally see in these scenes, but it's not. It is Archer with a vicious double leg drop kick.
Oh my god, double kick off the high ground too.
Yeah.
Man.
I'm surprised that Silic's chest didn't immediately explode from the force of that double kick.
Or his heart stop. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that quintessential Federation double limb attack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you also get the signature Archer entrance of just insulting them immediately by saying, you're an ugly bastard.
Yeah, what the hell?
Archer holds Silic at gunpoint and tells him to call off the attack on the Enterprise and give me those data disks. And I guess Silic immediately concedes. because we get back to the Enterprise, and by this point the cell ships have caught up and are starting to do some damage to Enterprise.
They are shooting the fuck out of that ship. There's like there's not a camera that is stable on the entire set as like explosions are happening. And my note is, Jesus, this is not going well for them.
This might be a stupid question, but like, why doesn't every enemy that fights against the NX-01 just target the bridge? It's very obvious.
Shh, be quiet. No, it's fine.
Yeah, so anyways,
so all of a sudden, the attacks stop. It's a miracle. The ships begin to leave. Archer rejoins the Enterprise from a commandeered cell ship that he has Silik hostage on. The conversation, I assume, meant they were just going to leave him behind, I guess. Like, did he take him onto the ship?
No, he left him in the Helix pod and sent it back to the Helix. So
okay.
He's like, I know it's not standard procedure, but I took a hostage, and my note is, I know it's not standard procedure, but I felt like a badass. So
eventually, we get to a little conversation.
The conversation with Saval is simultaneously the best writing in this entire episode.
Yeah,
and also the dumbest.
Yes.
Because like, everything Saval says is excellently put and very good points. And everything Archer says is just like, it's so bad.
So Saval is still being a big doo-doo head to all the humans.
Saval's basically like, look, I know y'all managed to not be responsible for that one industrial accident on that mining planet that killed 4,000 people, even though it was kind of you. He's like, but it seems like you're fucking up every week. Like you're on some kind of like weekly reset TV show or some shit.
Look,
like, can you knock it off?
I was going to say, he's got to be an entertaining show for the people watching. Saval doesn't know that. It's fine.
And then Archer busts out this terrible analogy where he's like, but
yeah,
babies,
he lost me like 3 words in.
Babies need help to get, so we're just taking baby steps out here. And I'm like, we don't give newborns a fucking warp reactor. And then Saval basically says that, and I'm like, yeah, Saval, you fucking tell him.
Hey, but you know what? T'Pol was a badass.
Yeah, so everybody talks. Archer makes a dumb speech. T'Pol actually, backs the humans, of course. Saval says he's gonna, recommend to the Vulcans that they don't change their recommendation, which is like a weird, like, it's like, I'm not gonna recommend they change their recommendation. But at the same time, they're just like all there talking to the humans who the Vulcans would be talking back to anyway. So like, what are we even doing here?
And also, like, this is the first episode of a new season. What's with this false tension? Like, we know this mission's not going to get canceled right now. Like,
so yep. So we that all ends, and then we get to a little late night. I don't want to say rendezvous because that implies other things, but Archer comes knocking on wakes T'Pol up in the middle of the night and says, "Yeah, put us over the top," and the mission will continue.
By the way, a surprisingly good line for the last line of this show, because she's like, I still don't believe in time travel, and Archer's like, the hell you don't, and then he walks out. I was like, that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
That was good.
All right. Well, I guess we're to our point where we rate the episode. I mean, God.
Can I? You know what? Would it help if I went first?
Go ahead.
Saval being surprisingly well written, and that final line squeaked this episode up to a 2 for me. This was a terrible episode of Star Trek. It was like pointless, boring, like not a lot happened that was useful, and the entire episode relied on this like false tension of like, oh, is everyone going to be okay? It's like, it's the first fucking episode. We know everyone's going to be okay. What are we doing here?
So I will say first that I am in agreement with you on the rating too. I don't know if I would say squeaked into a 2, but I would say it's a solid 2. Solid 2. Solid deuce. And it's you kind of said something, and it made me did think about it. Like, I don't I wouldn't say necessarily that nothing happened, but like I think a lot happened, but at the same time, like none of it
mattered.
like there was a lot of like filler stuff happening. Like
Right.
all of like the Daniels Archer like scenes were like, why is this even necessary? Like he could have just wandered and found a time machine and it would have been just as effective.
Right. And the fact that he let Silic go back is that level of like, well, we can't get rid of the bad guy now. Like we're just starting a new season. So, let him go back. Like, anyways, Rob,
Man,
you bleeding heart. What are you giving it?
You're brutal. I'm actually coming at this from the opposite direction. I was going to give this episode a 4, except all of the horny campiness dropped it down to a 3 for me.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Hoshi thing bothered me.
It was just unnecessary.
It was so unnecessary, and not even like, I don't know.
It's like, oh, we got a new season. We got to put some titties in it, guys.
It was
figure out a way to get one of the women naked.
Like, it just didn't even fit the tone of the episode at all.
It didn't. Nope.
No, it was it's awful to abuse Hoshi like this in particular because they're doing so much to show that she's growing professionally, and then they do this.
Yeah, now she's making Reed grow.
Yeah, erections. All right. Well, I think that will wrap it up for a summary. Wrap it up. When we get back, we will go into our deep dive.
I don't know why we had to get a fucking woman topless in this episode, and it's funny too because like she's coming out of the thing, and her shirt gets caught on the thing, and I'm like, ah, fuck! Don't do that. What are you doing?
Yep.
And then it happened. I was like, ah.
Yep.
And also, then Reed's standing there like he's never seen tits before. Like,
right, and like whoever even suggested the scene doesn't know how shirts work because like your arms are going to get stuck in the armholes on your way down. You're just going to be suspended there.
She's going to be held up by her arms and her under boob. Like it sounds like it would rip her right off.
Sounds uncomfortable.
Yeah. And this is pedantic as fuck, but like she was obviously wearing a bra, and then when the shirt came off, she was just topless again. But then Reed gave her one of his shirts, so it was a little big on her, but she's clearly wearing a bra again. So it's like, what the fuck are we doing? A bra. He's one of her bras.
Yeah, no, he had a man's ear. It's fine.
It's a bro.
It's a bro.
It's a bro. Yeah. Welcome back, everybody. So for our deep dive today, I wanted to kind of explore the history of two-part episodes in Star Trek. Do either of you know what the first two-part episode in any Star Trek series was?
I'm gonna get the first two-part episode.
Oh, the broken bow.
No,
not chronologically.
It's got to be TNG. Is it the conspiracy episode?
No, it is actually, the first one is an original series episode.
There was a two-parter in TOS?
There was only one, but there was one called The Menagerie. So it's a two-part episode from the first season. It was the 11th and 12th episode of that season.
This is the Pike episodes, right?
Yes, that is correct. It is the Spock abducts his former commander, Pike, locks the Enterprise in a course to Talos 4 and turns himself into for a court-martial. It was interesting. I did a little bit of research on it, and the production company that was making Star Trek, this Desilu Productions, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Desilu,
yeah, that one.
Because it's Desi and Lucy, like Desilu.
Desi and Lucille Ball.
Yeah.
Okay. There were concerns that they would not be able to deliver the episodes to NBC in time to meet the series commitments. And the Menagerie was created as a means to reuse footage from The Cage, the unaired pilot episode of Star Trek, within a story as the early history kind of Enterprise. And that's why the two-part episode was done. It actually only required a week of production time. So classic Star Trek reusing stuff because they
Right.
don't have the resources.
Is that wait, does that mean they invented the clip show?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe?
Because, God, that's early in TV history.
That's true. That is one thing I'm glad about is we don't get clip shows anymore.
Oh my God. Was there one in TNG? There was one, right?
Yes, there was definitely at least one in TNG.
There wasn't any in Voyager. I don't think there's any in Enterprise. I just remember Stargate had one every fucking season. Oh, yeah. God. And they made the interim parts interesting enough that I'm like, well, I have to fucking watch it.
Okay, so let me ask you this. The next question is, how many of the series start with a 2-part episode?
So you mean like the pilot is 2 episodes worth of show?
Is actually yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Enterprise does.
I know DS9 and Voyager did.
So DS9 is actually it was DS9 and Voyager both kind of did this thing where it was actually initially broadcast as 1 episode. It was just the length of 2 episodes.
So was Enterprise, yeah.
Yeah. And then of course Next Generation as well with Encounter at Farpoint.
Right.
TNG did not.
Yes, he did.
That's what I just said. I just said Next Generation.
I'm sorry, not TNG, TOS.
No.
TOS did not. Yeah, no. The only 2-part episode was the Menagerie in TOS. That was the only one. So Next Generation actually had 10 total 2-part episodes. Like by 10, I mean like 10 pairs.
So 5. Okay.
No. Like 20
I'm sorry,
episodes,
10
basically.
pairs. 20 episodes, yes. 10 pairs.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. You know what? It's my first week with English. I forget what the word pair meant. I'm sorry.
I initially thought that DS9 had 11, but DS9 did this weird thing with their 2-part episodes. They've got a couple, I think 3 different sets of 2-part episodes, but instead of naming them Part 1 and Part 2, the episodes actually have different names. Like they have one where Homefront is episode 1, Paradise Lost is episode 2. By Inferno's Light is episode 1, Favor the Bold is episode 2. Or In Purgatory's Shadow is episode 2.
Their Mirror Universe one was a 2-parter, wasn't it?
There's a few different ones. There's that might not be. I don't remember. There's in DS9 there's the Maquis, which is a 2-part. The Search was the 2-part.
Oh, the Maquis is when Tom Riker shows up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you know how many Voyager had? Total pairs.
Okay, so there's Year of Hell. You're not counting the Caretaker episode?
I am counting the Caretaker episode.
Okay, so there's the Caretaker's episode. They had some season end ones that did that too, didn't they? Oh, there was the is it the Pegasus? There was a pair of episodes where they found another Federation ship in the Delta Quadrant, and they were assholes. I forget the name of the ship. Was it the Phoenix or the Pegasus? Something like that. Not the Pegasus. That was Riker's experiment ship. Something like that. But that was one. So that's 3. The last one, Crossover, 4. That's all I can think of off the top of my head.
There's actually what's 1, 2, 3.
A lot 11, of this.
11 total 2-parters.
That doesn't surprise me. A bunch of the seasons, I think, ended with 2-parters.
Yeah, that is true. I think there's at least 3 or 4 of them that do end that way.
Yeah.
The Caretaker. Go ahead.
Was Voyager overall less episodic?
Than TNG? Yes. Than Enterprise? No.
Huh.
But there are more
that's
characters.
Why there's so many.
Right, there are more characters on Voyager, so they had the opportunity to explore some of those characters. So it feels less episodic, but really it's weekly reset.
Okay, yeah, like season 2 ended with a 2-parter, branching into season 3. Let's see here. What
do you have names? So you got crossover. You got Caretaker.
Basics.
Mm-hmm. Basics. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Futures End was both in
Ugh.
season 3. That was episode 8 and 9 of season 3. Scorpion.
Oh my God, Future's End. That was a good fucking episode. Oh man, that one was messed up.
Scorpion was
Scorpion
end of season
was
3.
a 2-part. Yep, that's species 8274, whatever the fuck they're called. Liquid Space.
Year of Hell, as you mentioned.
Year of Hell. What a great set. Oh man, what a good show.
The Killing Game, which was
season
4.
That's Nazis. Yep. Okay.
Equinox, which I think is the one you were referring to.
That's
earlier.
what I'm thinking of. Yep. Equinox. Yep. That was the Pegasus. It's called the Equinox. Yeah.
Dark Frontier, which is both in season 5. Let's see here. This one, I didn't remember this one off the top of my head. In this episode, crew of Starfleet's Voyager encounters the Borg Queen. Okay. Yeah. That was introduced in First Contact.
Yes. So okay, that's the one where they find the Borg that are not part of the collective. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
There's the season ender of 6, which is Unimatrix 0.
Right. That's the big one where they go.
Right.
Yeah.
Flesh and Blood, which is season 7, episodes 9 and 10. That one, they discover a Herodian ship that is turned into... No, this is the one with the holodeck one. I think the first one, Killing Game, is where they first meet the Herodian.
Oh, okay.
And then Workforce is the last 2-parter.
Oh, Workforce was a 2-parter. That setup that was messed up. That one kind of messed my brain up a little bit. That one was
that was an interesting episode where they're like in that.
They're just like working for some fucking company and they don't remember their lives at all. Yeah, it's fucking. That's the one where the doctor finally gets to command and it's just him.
Yep. Totally lost my train of thought here. Hold on.
So that's all. So Voyager had a lot of them.
Yeah, Voyager had a lot of them. Next Generation had 10. DS9 had, I guess, total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total 2-parters. So less than Next Generation. Next Generation had 10 too.
And then Voyager had 11.
Mm-hmm. And then Enterprise was the last show that had 2-part episodes.
So
New Worlds?
I want to say. Oh, wait, you know what? I've got them actually all right here. Because I got all the titles up. Because I know the one, and then we had 2.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 3 at least. Is there 4 total?
There's 4 total, yeah. And
okay. Stormfront, that's right. Yep.
Stormfront in A Mirror Darkly.
Yes, that one I remember. Because that one, I can't even talk to you about it because Rob doesn't know what it is, and he has to see it blind. Because the opening sequence of that episode is fucking amazing.
I gotta say, like, I'm getting more excited to watch Voyager again because, like I said, back in the '90s, I fell off of that very quickly. But like, I was reading posts on Reddit earlier today, and one of them was talking about how
always a great source of information.
They were talking about how like they did not appreciate Voyager in the 90s, but they recently rewatched it. It's now their favorite Star Trek. So like I'm pretty pumped for when we eventually get there years from now.
Yeah, I think Voyager really perfected the weekly episodic like hybridizing of the show where it's like we can do episodic, but we can also do some longer form stuff. And then Enterprise like tried to go away from it and kind of flubbed it, and then the newer stuff went to the non-episodic.
Right, the later seasons, yeah. So I looked through just to make sure. I didn't remember seeing any, but Discovery doesn't really have any. It's funny though, they have in season 3, the first episode of season 3 and the last episode of season 3 are the same named episodes, and they named them Part 1 and 2. I don't know why they did that because I don't think the plots of them are really that similar. Yeah. But, and of course, none for Picard and none for Strange New Worlds, at least as of yet.
Did Discovery have a double long episode 1? I feel like I remember it lasting a really long time.
It's the kind of thing where like streaming shows now are just like releasing 2 episodes on the first day. Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
But I don't know if there's also a level of like with these streaming shows that like they're letting them, and I think this is a good thing. They're letting them be however long they want them to be. So like you'll find even in like we've been watching Wheel of Time, and like one episode will be like 45 minutes, and then another episode will be like an hour and 20.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is pretty
Last
cool,
of Us was the same way.
Yes, Last of Us was huge. Same with Stranger Things.
I've almost finished. I'm like halfway through the last episode of Wheel of Time season 2, and it's been very good. Like
I gotta watch it.
I think it's been like way better than the first season, actually.
I agree. And the end of that season, like that's the end of any knowledge I have from the books because I only read the first 2 books.
So it was very interesting. I think I actually have like 10, 15 minutes left in the episode, but they definitely did some stuff different than the books did. And I don't think it was bad, but it was definitely surprising in some instances.
What was that,
you know what
sweetie?
we're gonna have to do here? We're gonna have to.
We can't talk about it now. We have to save Wheel of Time talk for when Mariah can be on the show.
Oh, okay.
No. I was gonna say we need to now start a Wheel of Time rewatch and reread podcast.
Reread? Oh God, I didn't read it the first time.
Oh gosh. So yes, lots of history in 2-part episodes, and of course, mostly Next Generation, between Next Generation and Voyager, and of course a few in Enterprise as well. But as you kind of said, it's something that I don't think there's really any reason why we would see it at this point in how television kind of is right now. As you said, I mean, well, if they want to make a long episode, they just make a long episode at this point.
But also, like they'll have. Go ahead,
would you say that Strange New Worlds now has one? Because the last episode of season 2 is quite the cliffhanger.
Well, and that's the thing where, like, I don't even know the reason. Actually, I don't want to push back against you, Chris, but I would say like I don't think the fact that they'll just make a longer episode is the reason. The reason is that like so many episodes simply like end, and then the next episode just picks up where that one ended.
Yeah. And I was getting
like,
that too.
Yeah, they're just not like they're not paired that way anymore. It's just
right, exactly. Like so many shows now are just can't think of the word I'm looking for. It's the kind of the opposite of episodic. What's the word?
Long form.
There's another word for it. I can't think of it now. Anyway, but one episode leads into the other, like you were saying, as opposed to just your weekly resets, like a lot of the shows of the 90s and even some in the early 2000s were. So it's just, especially although, like I said, Strange New Worlds has kind of gone back to that episodic format for a lot of their episodes. So I wonder if we will end up getting one in that form again.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, I feel like the fact that we don't get them anymore is a good thing because I prefer, good, I guess that's a strong statement, but like, I prefer long form television as compared to episodic weekly stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I like both. I think for Star Trek, I enjoy the episodic nature of a lot of it, but I can enjoy it in a long form as well. Although I will say, of the new Trek, the one that is episodic, I've liked the most between Discovery, Picard, and Strange New Worlds, I think.
If I had to pick between the 3, I think I like Discovery the best.
Strange New Worlds.
But also Strange New Worlds is episodic theoretically, but I don't think you can call it.
It's not like, pure episodic like the older ones are. For sure. There's definitely more long form plot lines.
We all agree that Picard is the worst.
It's pretty bad.
You know what's truly the best of New Trek though?
Well, Lower Decks doesn't count. Yeah. As I said, Lower Decks transcends all opinions on the piece because it's like
it's a totally different format.
It's not just that, but it's like oh, what's the best Star Trek? Well, obviously it's Lower Decks, but like that is such a given that we can't include that in the conversation.
See, I would argue though that it is not episodic in nature because there's a couple of long arcs that like take place over the seasons where like
we're watching the same show, right?
Yeah, but like think about the end of season 2, right? There were a couple episodes there where it was all about saving the California class.
So I don't think so. What you're talking about is a central tension. That doesn't mean it can't be episodic. Because Voyager technically had a central tension too, because they're trying to get home, right? But like, it's still an episodic show. It's still a weekly reset,
Right.
Well, I don't know about that.
I think that will wrap it up for this week's deep dive. When we come back, we will have this week's potpourri.
Welcome back. So, brand new season, brand new us. Now we're the same. I thought about doing this like running bit where like we would pretend that we had took this huge long break between like season 1 and season 2, but it's been 7 days. So one of the things that I've had kicking around my brain for later in this podcast's like very long show running time that we're going to have, obviously, I realized would actually be good for now as well. So we're going to do it now. And that is, I want to come up with, between the three of us, some Enterprise Season 2 bingo squares.
Oh boy.
So like, not just, so things that we expect to see in the show, but also things that we expect to see on the podcast.
All right. Shirtless Bacula.
Shirtless Bacula. That's a good one.
That's center square, Jesus.
I just thought horny would be the free space.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a good one to have in the middle.
Let's see.
T'Pol being the adult in the room.
T'Pol
it's too easy.
Is the only adult. Well, you gotta have some easy ones and some hard ones, right?
Yeah.
Angry yelling Trip.
Ooh, yelling Trip is actually pretty rare. That's a good one. All right, Rob is just going to do this for us.
Well, I think it's hard because like I do remember some stuff from
I don't. Reed getting excited about blowing something up.
Reed wants to blow. Got it?
Hoshi overcoming the same fears again.
Hoshi overcomes imposter syndrome again.
Andorians save the day.
Oh, Andorians save the day. How about Travis mentions growing up on the horizon?
Yep, that's a good one.
Yeah, Mayweather. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mentions the horizon.
Water polo reference.
Ooh,
Water polo. Okay, like a reference or like an actual footage?
Just reference, I think, is good.
I was gonna say that eating would be the free space, but we we ran out of that streak already.
Let's see here. What else? Something with Phlox. Phlox does his creepy smile.
Oh, creepy Phlox smile. Nice.
I was gonna say Phlox mildly entertained by weird human eccentricities.
Phlox entertained by human weirdness. How about a mind meld? Do you think we'll see one of those this year?
I think it's a good one to do.
How about Vulcan's what's a good way to put this? Like the ambassador, for example, from last season. She was Valar, now that I remember her name again. Vulcan's like expressing a sense of humor.
Okay. Vulcan's sense of humor.
Does T'Pol count for that though?
Sure.
As long as it's a Vulcan sense of humor, she doesn't like tell a knock joke because Trip put her on for it or something.
Yeah.
How about sad call to forest?
That's a good one.
Porthos is the goodest boy.
Oh, that's a free square.
That's
he's always the goodest boy.
Like, let's see. Oh, Porthos eats cheese.
I was gonna say like, Porthos eats cheese. That's what immediately came to mind.
Because like he's supposed to not eat cheese again, right?
Yeah, exactly. Let's see.
Suliban surgery.
Oh, that's a good one, actually. Oh, how about just bondage?
Sure. Yeah. That comes up surprisingly often in
Yeah,
the
it
show.
does seem to come up a lot, yeah.
What else?
Archer violates the Prime Directive.
But they don't have a Prime Directive. Violates Prime Directive. How about silly Starfleet baseball caps?
Ooh, okay. I like that one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Have we seen those after that one episode?
I think we saw them one other time. Was it the desert one? No, I thought we saw them one other time.
Yeah, they wore them in the desert episode.
Oh, that might have been it, yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, how about a brand new uniform we've never seen before?
Okay.
A brand new Starfleet uniform. Because we've got the EVA uniform, we got the desert uniform, we got the dress.
Well, it's season 2. What about like a new, at least recurring character is introduced?
New recurring character.
Trip biologically violated.
Wow, that does happen a lot, doesn't it? Oh yeah, so Mariah's got some for the show, where it's just like someone says that they set their phasers to something dumb, like what I keep saying, like chronic back pain or 80s villain death. And the other one was me saying, I'm not a such and such but, because I do seem to say that a lot.
Like not a such and such but.
I'm not an astrophysicist, but I don't know how, like, if that works the way they say it does.
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty safe bet. Somebody's going to be saying that during a recording.
She also said, you doing a Scooby-Doo laugh?
I don't know. How many is that? Is that 25?
We're at 25 already.
All right. I mean, that's a bingo board.
What? Oh. Well, I figure we get like as many as we can, and then we can make random boards.
Oh.
Okay. Rob loses.
Oh, man.
Rob loses at Quizzo. Thank you, producer Mariah.
That's great.
That's good stuff.
That's great, but also, how dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you?
Oh, gosh. What else?
Yeah, we don't have to come up.
Noisily eating something in the background.
Oh, wow. That only happened the once. Matthew says fuck. No, that would be a free space.
We've already got too many free space ones.
Sensual ear rubbing, because that happened twice last season.
Ooh, that's true.
Ooh, that's
decon rub down. Decon rub down.
Oh, okay. So how about just like lengthy decon scene?
Okay.
Because there's not always a rub down anymore.
Yep. Okay, fair.
Do we need like specifically trip in underwear? Is that a good one?
Trip bulge.
Trip bulge.
Oh yeah, that's a good
there
one.
we go.
If we're gonna go trip bulge, do we do T'Pol abs?
I don't know. This is where it's like, yeah, let's not pick on the ladies because they got it rough enough in this fucking show. Like
unnecessary sexuality.
With how the writing has gone so far,
free space.
I feel like that's the free square.
Yeah, horny free space. It's like the second thing I wrote down.
Yeah, okay.
Let's see.
Was there read as weirdly British?
It seems very vague. I don't know.
Well,
what does it take to be weirdly British?
Like it would have counted when his father was all like, you should have joined the Royal Navy. Like, that's Reed being weirdly British.
Okay.
Or saying bum too many times.
Oh, I got one. Archer insults an alien.
Inadvertently?
No, like on purpose. Like you're an ugly bastard situation.
Insults an alien. Do you want just like general racism?
I mean, that happens too much. We got to be more specific.
What about Archer falls in love with an alien? That happened twice last season.
Archer falls in love. Oh! Sealing troops.
Yes.
Yes.
By the way, I just want to say I was incredibly happy when they did like the recap of the last episode from last season, and they showed the missiles concussing Suliban off the ceiling.
So good.
Like a fly swatter.
Yep.
Do we want like Archer immediately fails at whatever he tries?
No, that's a free space. We got too many free spaces already.
Is there any character we haven't given any love to?
The missiles suck again.
Missiles suck.
Grapplers.
Ooh, grapplers. That's a good one. Because that hasn't happened all that often.
No, it's only a couple of times. Like actual grapplers, like where the cord comes out and shit, not this like grappler arm Doppler radar thing.
Yes.
Oh, Phlox uses weird aliens as medicine.
Phlox medicine animals.
How many we got now?
We're in 36. Oh, how about the MRI chair scoots out at 1,000 miles an hour?
Sure.
Ooh, Trip Reed bromance.
That's a good one.
Okay. Trip Reed ship. Oh man, this is gonna be some good bingo cards. Too bad we don't have any listeners to actually do this with us.
Your dad can play.
Yeah, Dad can play. All right. Well, so if we think of any others off air, that'll be fine. I will get these because there's a lot of bingo card generators out there. So I will get these genned into like a random bingo card, and we'll each get one, and we'll see who gets bingo first.
Oh, this will be awesome.
Although like we have to make a gentleman's agreement that we don't specifically like, oh fuck, I only need, set phasers too. I'm gonna just say that real quick. Like oh man, we need a prize. Tell you what, so I'm gonna put some advertising out. I'm gonna try to get this. So tell you what, the first listener to send me in our email a picture of them holding their bingo card with it marked off and like the date and like a thumbs up or something and your address, I'll send you some sort of Star Trek like coffee mug or something.
Yeah. Free stuff.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah, that'll be our first fan giveaway.
There you go.
Woo.
All right. So thank you everyone for joining us for this lovely introduction to season 2. We are excited to start back up with season 2, even though it has only been a week since we left the last season. If you heard our episode a few episodes ago about the kinds of things we're looking forward to doing with this podcast, we've already got a couple of ideas like in the planning stages that we're going to kind of work in the next few episodes. So hopefully we'll get a little more variety out there, and hopefully we will keep you all entertained. We appreciate your time and energy listening to us ramble about this wonderful show. But as always, we do ask if you could just spend a couple of seconds giving us a review, giving us a rating. We'll read any good reviews on the air. Oh, wait. Hold on. We did get a review. Hold on. My dad gave us a review.
Oh boy.
All right.
Oh God.
My father, dear Chief, gave us a review, and he gave us 4 stars because he's a dick.
What a dick.
No, this has been some 4-star content. Let's be honest here.
No.
Yeah, but
5 stars. I'm a 5-star man, Rob.
Nepotism.
I'm a 5-star man.
Come on. And tell your friends. Word of mouth is primarily how podcasts get off the ground. So yes, please tell your friends. I think this is the point where I could be like, if you're like an active participant like the Star Trek Reddit or something, go talk about us there too, because we'll take some hate listeners from Reddit. Fuck it. Oh, yeah. Like we can't promote it ourselves because Reddit doesn't like that. But if someone goes and just shamelessly plugs it for us, that doesn't count.
Yeah, do that.
I don't know how Reddit works. Anyways, thanks again. I think that's all I've got. Either you got anything else?
That'll do it for me.
I got nothing.
All right. Well, good night, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to Captain's Log Supplemental. You can follow us on Twitter at PodCLS or send us hate mail at podcls3@gmail.com.